Welcome back to the City of Palms podcast, everyone. This is episode 73, and we made this happen today, dude.
Yeah, we did. We finessed it. We finessed it.
Yeah.
I guess I'll explain a little bit to the viewers. All right, so I had this deal lined up for tomorrow. It fell through for today. Had to pull so many strings to make it work. I don't want to say too much. So
he was at the dentist, people, and he was almost late.
Came back with a four-wheeler. Crazy. So we're here. No, cool thing about the four-wheeler real quick to touch on. All that was in the description was Yamaha Blaster 200. So that's all I knew. But then, and I was just hoping, I mean, there's so much to go into it to break it down. Like, it's two strokes, so you got to mix oil. But you don't have to really necessarily mix it because there's an oil pump. But you should always bypass the oil pump and mix it. Because if the oil pump fails, the engine will blow before you'll know the pump fails. Because you're not getting engine to the oil. So I was like, damn, hopefully that has been done. The guy, like, he didn't really know much about it. But then when I got there, he was like telling me everything that was done. And bro, it's fully built, like full pipe on it. Borson reeds. I got on it, and because he said his 12-year-old was scared of it. So that's why he wanted the bikes I had. So I get on that thing and the roads are wet and I come around the corner sideways. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting it. Yeah, so I turn around. I'm like, all right, load it up in the trailer. Haul ass here, dude. And that, yeah.
I can see why you were stressing about the time. It was like a 2-hour drive there, right?
It was, yeah. It was in Tampa. So 2-hour drive. Yeah, 2 hours up there. We were booking it, dude. Yeah, with a trailer.
Hell yeah. I mean, we made it happen. Today, we've got a very exciting guest. I know we say pretty much every time, it's like, this is a long time coming. But straight up, this one has been a long time coming. I feel, and I'll stand by this, I feel like we have one of the most slept on MCs in Southwest Florida, and I'm honored to have you sit here. Today we've got King Rock. How you doing, bro?
Good, man. Blessed, you know what I'm saying? Feeling good.
Hell yeah. So get right into it.
Let's start from the top, dude. I want to know like,
Where are you from?
yeah, New York, right?
Originally from New York, the Bronx, New York, yeah.
Damn, okay.
I moved down here when I was like 5 or 6. My family, my brothers and sisters were the only ones that came down here, so everybody else is up north. So, you know, as I was growing up, I would go back up to New York, and we were pretty much bouncing back and forth between here and New York. So I kind of rep both. You know what I'm saying? I feel like both of those roots, they help shape me and my style. You know, so. Yeah, man, I rep the Bronx to the death because I feel like you got to know where you're from to know where you're going. You know what I'm saying? So even though I've always been appreciative of my roots from the Bronx, because like me being a rapper and, you know, me being so like immersed in like hip hop culture, like that's literally like my birthplace is the birthplace of the music that I do. You know what I'm saying?
Straight up,
so
yeah.
It's like me coming down here when I was so young, I was always like thirsty to like learn my origins, like where I come from, where do my people come from, you know what I'm saying? And that's a part of me, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna rep it, you know what I mean? But also I got a lot of love for what I consider the hometown, which is, you know what I'm saying, the 239, you know, which I feel like a lot of artists, like they start to get like a buzz coming out of here, and for whatever reason they don't want to put a light on the area.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I try to make sure that I do that every time that, you know, I get up and I do my thing, you feel me?
Hell yeah. So at what age were you bouncing constantly to and from? Did you go to school up there mainly?
No, I went to school mainly down here, pretty much in between time, like any time that we had any type of vacation time, we would bounce back up there, either New York or we would go to Dominican Republic, because my family's Dominican. Both of my parents, they come from the island. You know, so it was pretty much one trip we would go to New York, the other trip we would go to Dominican Republic, and it's pretty much those 3 places that that's really like all I know. I've never really been like anywhere else but those 3 places.
Man, how's DR though?
It's like
because I've heard it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. I wouldn't know too much because usually when we go to see family, and they live in the ghetto. You know, so my mother's from Santo Domingo, my father's from Punta Cana. So we would go see family in the capital, Santo Domingo. It's kind of rough. It's like a New York, but everybody speaks Spanish. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of just gotta know how to move and shit. But can I curse? Is that true?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of just gotta know how to move. Like it's like ironic, you know, because me being Dominican, I've never been to like any resorts over there, like the beach or anything. Like every time I go over there, it's like straight to the slum. But you know, you learn to appreciate your background. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, it's like a humble beginning. You know what I'm saying? So like stuff like that, it keeps me humble because that's where my mother came from. You know, so like, and she came over here with nothing. You know, so I feel like it's only right that I pick up from where she left off and try to elevate. You feel me?
For sure. Yeah, that's dope, dude. So where'd you go to school down here?
I went to a few different places. I bounced even here. I bounced around. I've lived in Fort Myers. I lived in Cape. I've lived in Bonita. I lived in Lehigh. I've lived in Port Charlotte. Pretty much everywhere except for Naples. But yeah, I graduated from Ida Baker. But I've been to Dunbar. I've been to Fort Myers. I've been to Cape. I think that's it.
You went to Fort Myers High?
Yeah, I went to Fort Myers High.
Wasn't it you couldn't wear shorts there?
I don't know, man. To be honest, because like when I was there, I was like, I'm like introverted by nature. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I don't know you like that, like I'm really not gonna be the first one to speak, and it's not even like a uppity type thing. You know what I'm saying? That's just like I don't know, man. Like if I don't have nothing to say to you, I just don't. Like for what? I don't really believe in like small talk. Like if we're gonna talk for real, or we're not gonna talk at all.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I fuck with that. Yeah, I'm the same way too. Yeah. Yeah, I remember looking into Fort Myers and it was like you either had to wear shorts or you had to wear pants, one or the other. I was like, fuck that.
Man. I don't know, man. Cause I like the whole time that I was there, I barely like spoke to anybody. Like I used to just sit alone in class and just like write raps all the time. You know what I'm saying? That was like kind of my thing. But that's always been like me. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody, like most of the people that I know, it's because they came in like they had approached me in some type of fashion. You know what I'm saying? Which, you know what I'm saying, I'm grateful for, but I'm not. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's just how I get down. You feel me?
Yeah, and we know nowadays you're you know the multi-talented hustler like you are. Back then, what was it mainly music that you were latching onto?
Yeah, 100%. It was it's just my passion. You know what I'm saying? Like I started rapping because I was depressed. You know, and it was like a therapy for me. It's like still a therapy for me. You know what I'm saying? That's like my main outlet for like when it comes to like me expressing anything that I feel like I gotta get off of my chest. You know, so my upbringing, it wasn't the best. You know, and rap was definitely a positive outlet for me to utilize. You know what I'm saying? So I've always stuck to that because I feel like that's it's like one of the truest things that I've ever known. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
You said moving back and forth from states was just you and your siblings?
Yeah. Like everybody else was up north, you know. So like it's like I'm the youngest of four. It's me, and then we got my sister, and then I got two sisters and one brother, and they're all older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was pretty much just us, you know, down here. You know what I'm saying? Like we were pretty much all we had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for real. Who were at that time? Who were some of your main musical influences that you were looking at, inspiring you?
I feel like I've always like looked for like anybody, cause like in my quest for like understanding where I come from and like music has been such a big part of me. Like I'm always I don't know. I'm like the type to pay attention to detail, you know. So like let's say for example, like Big Pun was always like a very big influence to me. But like I go look at Pun and then I'm like thinking to myself, who does he listen to?
Yeah.
You know, and then I go listen to who he listens to. Who does Lil Wayne think is great? You know, because like usually people will stop at Lil Wayne or they'll stop at Jay-Z. Or, you know, they'll stop at Eminem and they don't ever think to themselves, well, you know, who do these people consider great? You know what I'm saying? I want to listen to who legends consider legends, and I feel like by default, that's gonna like put me in a better stance. You know what I'm saying?
And figuring out why, they look up to him. You know what I mean?
And it's not even just like rappers per se, like DJs, graffiti artists, just the culture in general.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I gain inspiration from like everything, and like as I grow, like I learn to be like more open minded. So like it's not even like the culture itself anymore that I gain inspiration from. It's like now it's like so much bigger. Like anything in the world, like pretty much whatever I can perceive, I'm gonna try and like turn it into a bar in some type of fashion. You know what I'm saying? Cause like I feel like as a rapper, you're like you're an ambassador, for lack of a better term, you know, for people who don't necessarily know how to express themselves, you know what I'm saying? That people who come from a specific set of circumstances and they feel like they don't know how to express that, like that music is powerful. I remember speaking to somebody and they were telling me, they were like trying to like tell me, cause I'm like pretty reserved. I don't really like getting like too in depth with like shit that I go through. And he was like trying to give me advice, and he was like telling me, you know, the stuff that you write, like your problems, when you write your problems out, it's not even really for you. It's like for the person who's listening, who they're still going through that, and they feel like they still need to hear that there's a way out when it comes to that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So like that kind of like changed my perspective when it came to like the way that I would like write, and like whether or not like the type of stuff that I would like divulge in like my material. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. So at what point did you ever really have a thought in your head of like rapping is what I want to do, or is it, because you seem like the kind of person that you wouldn't really classify yourself as like, all right, my career is gonna be rapper. Like you have lots of like different things you want to kind of like touch on.
Yeah, like I said originally, it's really just more so for like the passion, like just the fact that I love to do it, and it's therapeutic for me. So like first and foremost, that's always gonna be my main reason that I do it. It was never really, I never really tried to monetize it, you know. But like I get to rapping in front of somebody, and then they think I should do it, and like I just keep hearing that over and over and over. And I remember having a conversation with a friend where he like really like put it into my head, like he put the bug in me that I should try and make money off of this. And when I think about it, like from a skill set standpoint, like you look at the industry and you see a lot of people who like skill wise they're not really as good as me, but they're very successful in what they do. And you know, typically people would see that type of situation and they would hate on it, you know what I mean? Like, oh, like that's what you call like a whack MC, you know. But I don't know, man. I tried to take that moment and I tried to understand why they're popular, or what is it that people gravitate to when it comes to them, you know what I'm saying? Like if you look at a rapper like 2 Chainz and you look at you compare him to somebody like Eminem, like it's pretty obvious who's better lyrically. You know what I'm saying? But 2 Chainz still has a following. There's still a reason why people gravitate to 2 Chainz, and you know, that's something that people should be paying attention to. I feel like, you know, like just last night when they did that verses with Gucci and Jeezy. Like those are 2 rappers that me personally growing up, I didn't really gravitate to them too much, but I can appreciate them so much, and like listening to their material and like the shit that they have to say, like it's so true to them. You know, like now these days, like to me, it's not even about how intricate your shit is anymore. It's like, to me, it's all about, is it authentic? Is it true to you? You know, when I finish listening to you, do I feel like I understand you more as a person? You know, those are the things that stick out to me when I'm like judging if somebody's good or not. You get me?
Yeah. Man, I want to get into battle rap, because that's a big part of your music as well. And I wonder when does that start in your timeline? When did you really start getting into battle rap?
That I've always been into that, because I feel like that just comes with the territory when it comes to rap. Like I learned from a lot of OGs where like in the 90s, where like a lot of people consider that the golden era for like rap music. That was like the time where like anybody who was popping, they could do it all essentially. Like they could make you a hit record, or they could battle, they could throw a freestyle if you wanted, like whatever you wanted them to do. Like Biggie, Tupac, Nas, Jay-Z, all of these people, like if in all of these different situations they're gonna shine. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I always tried to be as complete as I felt they were. So I've always had an interest in it, and I've always like digged for like underground stuff, you know, like even people who like they're just like good at battle rapping, but they never really like got popping when it came to like making music or whatever. When it came to me actually taking part in it, I did it because I was broke. and I needed bread, and there was a tournament out here, and there was a prize for, I think it was like $500. So I jumped in there, and I lost. I felt like they gypped me, but I lost. But I had got so far in the tournament that people, they started gravitating to me, and they wanted to see me again. So it really just came from like people noticing me, and they were like, "Oh, we want to see him again." And then I ended up the guy who did win the tournament. I ended up battling him, and I beat him, and I pretty much been the champion ever since.
Damn. So that was your first one, that contest. That was your first time ever battling.
Yeah, that was my first time ever taking part in it myself, and like you can still pull up that stuff on YouTube if I'm not mistaken, you know, and yeah, bro, it was a dope learning experience, you know, because like I feel like me getting into that, and like there's certain things that are just different between you watching them and you experiencing them, and like when you actually like jump in the pit.
Yeah.
And you actually have to be in that moment. Like, there's a lot of things that you learn in that moment, you know. And I feel like it changed like the way that I rap for the better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like my figurative language is like, I feel like it's like through the roof now compared to like how it was before, where I would just like focus on like multi-syllable rhyme schemes and like my cadence like that. I feel like that's like the thing that people most recognize about me when it comes to like my rap style. It's my flow. Because like the specific pockets that I dip into whenever it is that I'm rapping on a beat, like my approach is different than somebody else. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I feel like that's what makes me stand out.
Damn. So what were the nerves like though going into?
Yeah, I wonder that.
Nerves.
Yeah.
The nerves they're super high, especially for me because I have anxiety. Like even aside from that, you know. So yeah, there's definitely like a lot of anxiety. Anybody who tells you that they don't get nervous, and it's not even just battle rap, but like a performance period, like any time where you see like a bunch of people with their eyes on you and they're like pretty much just waiting on you to impress them.
Yeah.
You know, like yeah, there's gonna be like you definitely feel that pressure to a certain extent. I don't know, man. Like I think like I would overthink it. But like it helped me, you know what I mean? Cause like when I'm getting ready to battle somebody, I'm like, I let my mind run wild. Like I'm thinking to myself, this guy's gonna kill me. Like he's gonna like, cause if you look, not just me, but like battle rappers, period. Like there's been some really great battle rappers who have ended up looking terrible, embarrassed, like in different situations, and it's like anybody can lose, like. Understand that there's nobody invincible in this shit. Like on the right day in the right circumstance, you can and you will lose, you know. And I'm not an exception to that rule. But I always think to myself, yeah, this is gonna be the one. So like I write for that to just like overpower this person, and then I get in front of them and I'm like, okay, yeah, they didn't really have anything like what I thought they were gonna have, and then I end up overpowering them as a default, but. I feel like in that instance, it helps me. You know, my anxiety, it helps me, and me overthinking in that situation, it helps me because by default, it makes me over prepared. You know, so I'm like, I try to have like a Batman mentality in that sense. You know, where it's like I got a plan A, B, and C for whatever it is that you think you about to do with me. It's not about to work.
I noticed that in some of the videos that I've seen on YouTube of like, you know, old battle raps, you know, that you've done like 4 years ago. You notice that where like it's almost like chess, where you had stuff you had prepared that was anticipating what they were gonna say about you, that just immediately like makes them not shine anymore. You know what I mean?
It's counter writing, which is another thing that you learn when it comes to like when it comes to battle rap. It's anticipating what the approach that they might take, and I try to be as what's the word? It's escaping me at the moment, but I just try to be as prepared as possible. And yeah, man, it just, I don't know. Like they come with predictable angles or like angles that I've heard before, and then I'm like, okay, that don't really hurt me, you know what I'm saying? So like it ends up making them look worse, you know what I mean? But there are some people who they've come at me with like some amazing stuff and like stuff where I'm like, oh, I never even thought of that, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's something that I've only been to one battle rap event, and it's something that I learned that like how much respect there is between the battlers.
Absolutely.
When like you know you're talking so much shit about each other, you know, to each other's face, but it's like at the end of the day it's hugs, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
It's like
yeah.
all respect.
Yeah, everybody, and it's funny because being outside of that, people don't really understand it. But anybody who's in that culture, cause that's like a specific subgenre within rap in itself. Where like people move a specific way, they understand things, they perceive things a certain type of way. Like I know when I get in front of this person, and most of the time it's somebody that I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Like you have nothing like really real to say about me.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? We understand that it's really just for the matching of wits, and you know what I'm saying, just our minds are gonna clash, and we're just trying to see who can outthink who.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like a mix between like chess and boxing, but like with words, you feel me?
Yeah, and it's fun to see, you know, round one dude says some hard shit, dude comes back with some harder shit, and then like as the crowd gets louder and louder, then like when you have that one line you prepared that like really hits, everything erupts, and it's
You know what's funny, man, is like, especially like with me, it's hard to even predict that. Like I've had lines where like me myself, like I would impress myself like, oh man, that was crazy, but then I'll say it in front of other people and
nothing.
they don't really rock with it. And then there's like other lines where I'm like, oh, that was kind of basic, but I'm gonna put it in there because I feel like it's a setup to something else.
Yeah.
But that be the line that everybody goes crazy for because that's what they ended up comprehending. Like you can never really anticipate what other people are gonna perceive and how they're gonna take it, you know. So like, you know, they might catch it, they might not, but it's cool because like me, my particular style, I write in layers, you know. Like there's really like nothing that I say that is for no reason. Like whatever, like even if you feel like it's just like out there in the open just by itself, like it's connecting to something that I'm leading up to, you know?
Yeah, every syllable.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I actually noticed it in one battle where you the last line that you say, you're like, run that back, you say like run that back, listen to that again, and you went to re-say it and they're like, time's up, and you're like, what?
Oh yeah. Man, that what was that one in the club?
I forget which one that was.
That might have been the one in the club, man. Yeah, man, that was
I think, was it versus Loco Lou?
yeah, man. He's one of the hardest people that I had to battle, man.
Yeah, and that was one where like he said some shit and I was like, yo, that was pretty fucking good. And then
Yeah,
you
man.
said some shit and I'm like, oh
man,
no.
man, because like that the first time I battled him like 3 times, and that battle had got like fucked up, and cause like that was like the first time that I had ever like forgotten my shit. I didn't even realize it was happening, and there's like you could hear like this I never met this dude a day in my life, but this guy like right next to me, and he's like he won't shut the fuck up while I'm trying to like remember my shit. You know what I'm saying? And like yeah, that whole battle got fucked up because then he like forgot something that he was gonna say, and then like they were cutting our rhymes short, and we were so upset about it, we rapped the whole thing again in the parking lot right after that.
That's ill.
And we did it like I did all my rounds perfect, he did all of his rounds
Fuck
perfect.
yeah.
Like, it's and like that's crazy because, and that's the other thing too, because it's like it's way different like when it comes to like rapping in the studio and like rapping in that format. Like it don't matter, like you have to have it perfect in that moment when the camera's on. It don't mean shit.
Yeah.
And I like I've definitely done that where like I'll rap that shit 30 times perfect by myself in the room, and then I get in front of people and then I'm like, oh shit, I fucked up this word or that word, you know what I'm saying? I fucked up what I was gonna say, you know what I mean? But you know, it comes with the territory, man. You just I feel like that's it's necessary, like especially like me, like coming up in the 90s, where like it was all competitive rap, like even like was it Biggie Smalls and Jay-Z, they did a song called Brooklyn's Finest. Like you could hear in their verses like they're constantly trying to top each other, and it's like these are like 2 icons, you know what I mean? So it's like I'm learning from that, and like lyricism has evolved in 2020. Like you won't really hear that in music anymore. Now it's specifically like in battle rap, and that's not to say that like there's like rap artists and musicians who don't focus on that, but predominantly it's in battle rap. Lyricism lives in battle rap. So like me being what I feel like I'm a competitive lyricist, you know, so I feel like this is the lane that I should be in.
Yeah. We got to go to break real quick, but before we do, I just would wonder off the top of your head when it not battle rap, when it comes to like more like record making and stuff. Who would you say, just off the top of your head, top 3 lyricists, people who put out music nowadays?
Right now?
Yeah.
Off the top, first one I would say is Cole.
Yeah.
I say J. Cole.
For sure.
I say Kendrick, and there's this guy named Boss who he signed with J. Cole in Dreamville. Really, that whole camp, I love the music that they put out. Like it's so expressive. Like I don't know, like they're what I call like soul rappers. Like they don't really have like a specific style per se. It's just their style. It's just
It's very standout, very unique.
It's very standout. Like you can get like a real sense of who these people are.
Yeah, JID's in that camp, right? JID.
Absolutely, yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he's another one. He's another one.
His LA Leakers freestyle.
Super crazy.
Ill.
He's super crazy.
Hell yeah. All right, we're going to take a break real quick. Enjoy the ads in the meantime. And speaking of freestyle, you can click over to freestyle right after this interview. King Rock is going to bust a freestyle. So click over to that.
Sure.
Enjoy the ads. See you for part 2.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing by reading this ad. And let me tell you guys a little bit about Anchor. So, like I said, it's a one-stop shop, distributing, you put your podcast on. It couldn't be easier to use. My brother and I, when we started this podcast, we're looking around for a website. Where do we get our podcast up and running? How do we get it? Literally those exact questions. How do we get it on iTunes? How do we get it on Spotify? And I was trying to do that stuff by myself. And that's when I started looking up. And there's other ones you can use like J-Pod and all that. But let me tell you, Anchor, nobody's going to do it as great as Anchor. And most of all, it's free. So that's what you always do, man. That's what you love, is Anchor being free. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast, make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join me in the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. Once again, that's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast.
Yeah. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the ads. If you didn't watch the freestyle, go fucking watch it.
For real.
All right. So
You're gonna definitely want to watch that.
yeah, hell yeah. No, so to get right back into it, we talked a lot about rapping the first half, and then we talked. Brian touched a little bit about you being multi-talented. You got your hands in a lot of different bags, and
I do.
you do. So when did that all start too? From like, you were just rapping to when did you want to start getting creative with other stuff? Because I'm a lot that way too.
Yeah. I didn't really, to be honest with you. Like my main thing was always it's always been rap. But when I made the decision that I was actually gonna try and turn it into like a profession, I had to like be honest with myself, and I had to like ask myself questions like, what do I have to work with? And I didn't really have anything to work with, and I didn't really have a team, like me, I produce, but I taught myself how to produce because I didn't really have anybody solid who was like feeding me beats, like I started learning how to do photography and videography for the same reasons. Like I built my own computer, which I'm like, Google and YouTube, like that's gonna be your saving grace for anything that you guys want to learn. Like I'm telling you right now, I had a couple people like giving me like little bits of information here and there, but for the most part, it's just tutorials on Google and YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, there's a bunch of people trying to give you this information. Like you just have to be willing to go look for it. But that's really what it was. Like I had made the decision, and like me, I'm the type of person, bro, where like I don't really need people to like co-sign what I want to do. Like when I make a decision up in my mind, like I'm kind of just gonna go about it because that's what I feel like that's what I gotta do, you know. So when I told myself I'm gonna start taking rap serious, I started looking at all the avenues that I was missing, and you know, little by little, I was trying to facilitate that myself, and it ended up being a blessing in disguise, you know, because like me learning how to produce, now I produce for other people, you know, me learning how to take pictures and stuff, now I do that for other people. So like now those have turned into other bags, you know, and it's like Nipsey Hussle, somebody that I've been inspired by, more so just like him being the type of man that he is and the type of man that he was. I don't even remember what interview it was, but he was talking about not necessarily monetizing your music, monetizing everything around your music, because when you monetize everything around your music, it keeps your music pure, because you don't have to compromise it to make $1.
Yeah,
Wow.
straight up.
Wow. So, and like that man was ahead of his time, but
Yeah.
that was something that he had said, and I'm like, I really like took that to heart, you know what I'm saying? And like now I feel like blessed, because like I had dropped my first tape last year, and it started doing numbers this year, like during the pandemic. So like in a very real way, music saved my life this year, you know what I'm saying? So like I feel really blessed in the position that I'm in, and like all the other different avenues that I had already like started working on my own, like now those are like bearing fruit too. So it's like I don't even need to make money off of my music anymore. So that just it gives me more space to create with freedom, you know. Like I can do what I want to do. I don't have to worry about it being compromised by anything, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm independent at the end of the day, you know. Like I collect the lion's share of everything that I do. You know what I'm saying? So I feel blessed in that regard. Like to me, one of the reasons why I never wanted to like deal with the label is how much they would like take from an artist. And like a lot of people, like they demonize like the music industry, but in reality, in my opinion, I feel like you just don't know business. If you understand business and the way that people operate when it comes to business, they probably be a lot better off, you know. And like people like Jay-Z, who are like so business minded, and like that's like a role model to me. Like the way that he moves, like I try to mimic those steps, you know, just for the standpoint where like I want to make sure no matter what, because music is always gonna it's gonna appreciate with time, you know. So I wanted to make sure that it was I owned it, in that everything that I do, that I'm the core of it, so nobody can take it away from me. Nobody, like, I own my masters, I own my royalties, like I own everything. So even if my shit never sells as much as like a Kanye or anything like that, I feel good about the fact that I have ownership. So like I don't have no kids, but if I did have a kid one day, I could really give that to them, and you know, that's gonna live with them.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, that whatever you release is your art, how you intended it. You know, you didn't have, like you said, you didn't have to like cater it to any audience to like make more money or whatever.
People don't really understand, man. Like people, they get record deals, and they start looking at it like they're popping, like they're some type of celebrity, and it's like, bro, in the music industry, if you get a record deal and you get a contract, bro, like you're an employee. You have to do what they tell you to do, and you know, if you can prove to them that, you know, your ideas will sell, then they'll give you more leeway. But for the most part, bro, you're an employee.
Yeah.
You know, like they're paying for your record, for your studio time. They're paying for those records, for those producers. They're paying for all of that stuff, and they have to get that money back when your music starts to sell. And people don't really understand that. They kind of just, they get a signing bonus, and then they're like, oh, I'm lit. And it's not really that simple, mind you. But they don't ever take the time to understand those business aspects, you know. So like, that's another thing that I decided to do too. Before I even dropped any type of music, I made sure that I understood, at least to a certain extent, what goes on the business aspect. And even like, you'd be surprised how many rappers or musicians don't even know what a split sheet is.
What's a split sheet?
A split sheet is that's paperwork when you go into the studio session of who gets what. Like, it's like documented who gets credit for what. 'Cause a lot of like Kanye West is an example of somebody where like he'll give credit to you just for like, oh, those are some nice shoes, and if he makes a bar out of it, boom, you get some credit off.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Wow.
like, but like he's that type of person. A lot of other people, they're not. You know what I mean? So like, there's a lot of discrepancies that come into like music that gets made over who contributed what to a song, and it's kind of like up in the air because nobody bothered to do any type of paperwork.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what that split sheet is there for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's good that at the core of it is the art. It's like what Royce said. I think it was in the Book of Ryan or something. He said like all these people are talking like they've got all their masters, but if your music doesn't age well, you own 100% of nothing.
That's a
You know
fact.
what I mean?
That's another fact too. Like it's a duality to it. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know what I'm saying, stay true to your art, but also make sure that nobody like tries to capitalize off of your art. Because that's another reason why I decided to be independent as well. Is I've dealt with people who like have had an interest in me, but they didn't really have sincere intentions. So like they kind of wanted to make money off me, but they never wanted to make money with me.
Yeah.
You know, so that led to me just kind of saying, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do it myself."
Yeah. And it sounds like you're on the right path with that multiple sources of income. That's the way to do it.
I feel like, yeah, man, like I've been planting a lot of seeds and everything's been bearing fruit, you know what I'm saying? So I feel blessed, you know what I'm saying? All things considered, like this year's been crazy. And I know it's been crazy for like everybody, you know what I'm saying? But like me personally, it's been like really, really crazy. And it's a beauty to see that out of everything that's going crazy in my life, music is the one thing that just keeps getting better and better. Like, so
Yeah.
I feel blessed, man. I'm good.
Hell
And
yeah.
I feel like that's my purpose in life. I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
you know, they say if you do what you love, you know, you never work a day in your life. You know what I'm saying? And like ultimately, that's what I'm trying to like establish and manifest for myself in my life. You know what I mean? I want to be able to like wake up, do what I love to do. And that be the main way that I make my money, and you know, I live my life to the fullest extent, how on my terms. You know what I mean?
That's got to help your mind be at ease, just
For
knowing
sure.
like I know what I'm doing in this world. This is what I'm
For sure.
doing.
And like that's what's crazy too, because it's like the more that I trust myself, the more that I see it come back to me. So I'm like, okay, I need to double down on all of this. You know?
Yeah. So when we ask a lot of people this, but when you seem like someone, because a lot of people say when they're writing music, they like hear a beat and they just start like freestyling some stuff and then it'll put together into a song. You seem like the kind of person that might like write poetry or something, to like with how intricate some of your rhyme schemes are. Is that do you ever approach it that way?
I try to when I write, like I try to stay sharp. So I'll write a verse a day, even if it's not to a beat. So I guess you could call it poetry, because it's like it's like words that don't really go to anything. Just me trying to like express something, just trying to get it off. And then I'll hear a beat, and sometimes it'll spark an inspiration, or maybe I'll have something already. I used to be the type of person where like I needed to hear the beat first, and then I would just sit there and I would come up with whatever it is that I came up with. But I've been trying to like be more open-minded with like different like artists that I collaborate with, and like their creative process as well. I try to incorporate whatever I feel like, oh, that was a good idea. Like bro, if I feel like something is gonna help me, like I'm gonna try and draw from it. Like I don't know, like I don't really have an ego when it comes to this shit. You know what I'm saying? I just wanna do my thing to the fullest potential.
Hell yeah. Is there a big difference between when you're writing something for like a battle rap and when you're writing for, is there like a difficulty one side or the other? Because I feel like with battle rap, you're trying to be as lyrical as you can, like as intricate, not necessarily to a beat, but then like with, you know, being able to rhyme like Inagata Devita with In the Garden of Eden, like because that sounds sick on a beat, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's I feel like it's hard for me to turn it off, Cause like I get like, especially with like the last few years where like I was like going so hard when it came to battle rap, I feel like it's hard for me to turn it off and like start like writing music, and I feel like I've been learning that a lot more lately. I don't really necessarily I used, cause like me being competitive, I'll try to have like the best 16 on whatever it is that I'm rapping on, but that's not necessarily the focal point on every single track. You know, like Kanye West is a huge inspiration to me. But like when I listen to his music, like he's not always trying to have like the craziest verse. Like to him, the most important thing is like the song in general.
Yeah.
How everything is hitting from beginning to end. He's to like me, he's more like a composer than anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like in that aspect, I try to attack my music in that same aspect where I'm just focused on the entire song being what I want it to be, rather than me shining in on a 16.
Mm-hmm.
You
That makes sense that you would go into producing then, because then you can be the brains behind not only the lyrics that you're coming up with, but the whole project.
Yeah, that's another thing too, cause like me, I love beats that have like progression. I don't really like production where like it's like you listen to it in the beginning and then it sounds the same in the end.
Yeah.
Like, I love beats that go somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, so like I feel like I'm not that great at it yet, but that's something that I work at it, but that's something that I admire when it comes to like producers, rappers, period. Like anybody who puts out music, like if your music has progression, I'm gonna rock with it like 1000. That's one of like the main things that I look for when it comes to me listening for new people.
So, and that's like changes in melodies and flows on the beat.
Yeah, like anything. It can be anything. Like whether they're adding to it or whether like taking something away, where it's just like something with like I don't know, like a beat cuts out and then it's just like a female singing a melody, and then they bring the beat back in. Like it's like changes in dynamics. You know?
Yeah. Or even there's one song on your latest project where there's just one verse where the pianos come in, and it's like I think it's like yeah or Feel Me or one of those two.
I think you're talking about Hefe.
Yeah. And then there's one verse where just there's pianos in there, and it's like a whole like new breath of air like in that song.
Yeah, I did that on purpose, man, with that same thought in mind, cause like I just wanted to give the second half of the song a different feel, you know, like I don't know, man, like I write a lot in pockets. Like I'll kind of ride a wave and then I'll stop. I try not to force anything, you know. So like whenever I feel like I should stop, that's when I chill, and then I'll get back to it, you know. And that was actually a track that had taken me a little longer than the other ones to do, but I was happy with it.
Hell yeah.
Sure.
And how is that on the everything that you produced and written, how was that as far as the releasing? Because like it's all on you, you know, and we're our own worst critics. Yeah. So how was that?
It's taxing, I'm not gonna lie. And that's the other thing too. Like I chose to be independent, but I definitely see the benefits of working with people, and I definitely see the benefits of like having a label step in, because like I find myself having to deal with a lot of things that typically a label would take care of, or I wouldn't have to worry about that if I was working with a producer and so on and so forth. You know, like the next couple of records that I'm working on, I didn't produce them. I got them from somebody else, but you know, it's like kind of like a breath of fresh air where I'm like, I gotta worry about the verse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's a lot of work to put on. Like to start a project to release.
It's a lot of work. You know what I mean? And like, it's a different type of animal. Like, oh my gosh, like I'll sit down with so many different people, and they're like trying to teach me about like the sound spectrum and like different frequencies and all this like super particular shit that you wouldn't think goes into like mixing and mastering, and producing, but
genius
it does.
stuff.
And these people these people, they do this all the time, and it's like second nature to them. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's, to me, every time I dip into something different, it kind of just gives me like more of an appreciation for what it is that they do. Because it's like you would think that it's easy, bro, and it's not. It's really not.
It's so
I
tried to. I mean, I'm trying to dabble into producing. This was all like a quarantine hobby. I bought this MacBook, got Logic, started like making the beats, and dude, it makes me appreciate something like I mean anything that's been touched by, you know, an artist, producer, engineer, anything. It just makes you appreciate it that much more. But with what I was saying on you, like as taxing as it was writing and producing everything, it must be rewarding too. Like it's not
absolutely.
It's a delayed gratification, but
Absolutely.
to see it come to fruition, I mean, it's got to be amazing.
Especially if you
dude.
shoot all the music videos.
Yeah, man.
gosh.
I'm about to do that too. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but the reward, I feel like, is definitely worth it. Especially from an ownership standpoint. I would recommend anybody, like I would never say that you shouldn't work with people, but I feel like any artist, they should have one in their catalog where it's just them 100%. You know what I mean? Because they should have something in their catalog that they can control no matter who's in the equation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like my first tape, that was that for me. You know, and like I'm not out here getting no Jay-Z money, but it's paying me, and you know that money that I'm getting from that music, that's creating a capital for me to actually work with other people. You know what I'm saying? So now I have a budget where I can actually do something more substantial. So it's definitely been a blessing to me. I don't regret it at all.
Hell yeah. No, that's awesome, dude. It's so cool to hear. And dude, you got such a good head on your shoulders. This is why I love doing this podcast, because you get an insight as to who these people are. We, artists, we listen to your music and we get a feel of who you are, but then to sit down with you and just have a conversation, dude, it's crazy.
And I feel like listeners, a lot of like creatives who might be listening to this, particularly musical artists, could see that like there's no right or wrong way to do things necessarily. Like you don't have to self-produce your own album, but you can be a testament to why you might want to do that. You know what I mean?
Right. Like people like to me, like the biggest inspirations, like especially like in recent times, are the ones who like take their career into their own hands, like Chance the Rapper.
Yeah.
Like he's a heavy influence to me. Just like I love his music, but his music aside, like all the ways that he moves around his music, like those are all things that I pay super close attention to.
Yeah, Chance is one of them dudes.
Have you listened to? I'm sure you've listened to old Chance. That was my favorite, dude. Like it was before Coloring Book. Paranoia.
No, I listen to acid rap though.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's dude.
Is that a song on there?
Yeah, acid rap was the verse, right? Where he is the album or the mixtape.
Yeah, acid rap is the mixtape.
Yeah, Paranoia is a song on there.
Okay, my favorite one was Cocoa Butter Kisses.
Dude, that's a classic.
Yeah.
That. Yeah.
And Vic Mensa and Twister. Oh my god,
Yeah.
That song is crazy. That's like I think that might be like my favorite record for him.
Yeah, I love that song. That, and then there's another one he has on. I think it's called 10 Day. It's called 1500 minutes or 16 something like that minutes, and yeah, it goes hard, dude. Yeah, I love Chance.
Chance is fire.
Yeah,
I love Chance.
There's one segment we've been doing. It's basically we want to ask you if there's any like time, because you seem like the perfect person to ask, because you've got a bar where you say something like I took a loss but still act like I'm undefeated. Yeah. Seeing is believing. It's all in how you perceive it. Yeah. And we try to live by that. We call it winning streak, because it's like we all take L's. We all, like, every day you're going to have some sort of setback or some sort of like misfortune. And sometimes that's like a huge misfortune, but it is ultimately, it's all a part of the plan of you winning. So I wonder if there's any experiences you'd like to share of times where you took a big L, but how that turned into a win, essentially. And it could be as simple as just like a flat tire that was just a terrible day that like ended up, like how you learned from it or anything like that.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. Like I feel like I take all my L's and I elevate with them. Like
that's a bar right there. Wow.
Like I would say like me having a lack of production. I feel like that was an L that I took advantage of, and I made that, for lack of a better term, I took my lemons and I made lemonade. Like me not having somebody that was there with the camera, that like motivated me to do it myself. Like like the more that I get in those positions where I have to get forced to do something for myself, ultimately it ends up working out for me. You know what I mean? And these are all like things that like, I don't know, man. Like not I'm not gonna say nobody's name, but like I've seen other people like those are all situations that they get frustrated about or they get mad about, and they'll have like outbursts where they feel like people don't support them and whatever, and it's like, I'm not even really originally from here, bro, but like I never really have a problem with gravitating with people and connecting with people, because I feel like I'm true to myself, and I feel like, real recognize real. At the end of the day, people are going to appreciate authenticity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
For sure.
they like that, they're going to support that, you know what I mean? So if there's something that you feel like is lacking in your path or in your walk, you got to take some type of accountability for what it is that you're not doing, like even now, like all of the different things that I have my hand in, like I still have moments to myself where I'm like, oh, I should be doing this or I should be doing that, you know what I mean? But it's all a balance at the end of the day, and it's really like in the bar, like I said that bar because it really depends on how you perceive it, you know what I'm saying? Like you having a positive or negative mindset when it comes to the shit that you face. Like I've seen people go through the same things that I go through, and they feel like they can't get through it, and I've seen other people go through worse and they feel, from my perspective, it looked like they got through it a lot smoother than shit that I've gone through. It really depends on how you're looking at things, like you really, your thought process really has power, you know what I'm saying? When you think of like anything in life, it all started with a thought.
Yeah.
Everything that you see, everything that you can perceive, somebody had to think of that first, you know what I'm saying? So like, you have to keep those things into consideration, because if you're the main person telling yourself that you can't do this or nothing's happening because of that and that's always going to be your situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I never thought that I would be a producer. Like, I'm like, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you I'm a rapper first and foremost. I never thought that people would classify me as a photographer, but there's some people who they know me as exclusively as that. They've never heard me rap, but I was taking pictures for them 2 weeks ago, whatever. So like, you just got to step out there and jump out the window. Like, nobody started out being great. It all takes practice.
Yeah, and like if your perception of your day is all like, late, I was 5 minutes late, I had a flat tire, whatever, your perception of the day is you had a bad day.
Exactly.
But you had a lot of good things that happened in your day. You just didn't really like pay attention to them. And if you paid attention to all those good things, you would have had a good day. You know what I mean?
It's all about what you choose to give energy to.
Yeah.
I try to, anything that I feel like is too negative or it's turning me into like the type of person that I don't want to be anymore. I try to stay away from. You know what I'm saying? I try to feed into what feeds into me. I'm really big on like respecting energy and like reciprocating energy. You know what I'm saying? Like the energy that somebody gives to me, I'm gonna give you that tenfold. Like whether it's positive or negative, that's just the type of person that I am. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, bro, you feed into that positivity, man, and it's gonna start to bless you.
Yeah, it
That's
definitely
a fact,
will.
dude.
Definitely
Yeah.
will. Do you have a family of your own?
No, I don't.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Dude, you're so fucking smart. I mean, dude, like the whole time I've been like, bro, for real. But with the thought thing, that's one thing that it's huge, bro. Everything manifests from a thought.
Bro, like I really developed, I really had depression and anxiety way longer than I even knew what it was. Like I didn't even know what to call it, and I've been to Solace Care, where like they're like trying to like give me like different prescriptions for like a bunch of different shit and whatever, you know what I'm saying? So like I've been through it when it comes to like that, but like I had made a decision one day, bro. I didn't like how I felt, you know what I mean? So I started being real with myself, and I started taking accountability for like what I was contributing to how I would feel, and this shit is not easy, but it's definitely possible. And like that's one of the things, like when it comes to like depression, like that's what really like be getting people is like they feel like where they're currently at, that's all it's ever gonna be. And that's when you start having situations where people start contemplating suicide and shit like that. And it's like that hopelessness that they deal with, that be the main reason. You know what I'm saying? So I always try to keep myself elevated. Like I try not to have any external sources for like keeping me happy. I'm trying to like create that shit from myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, man, it's and like I don't always have the right way to go about it. I fuck up a lot, man. But you know, I feel like my intention is sincere. So it's been doing better for me than not. You know.
Yeah, it's good to recognize it's a learning process.
For sure,
always staying humble. You know.
For sure.
You ready to? We're about the end of it, right? We're about
Yes,
30 more
sir.
minutes.
did
You can look at this camera. Actually, let me reset it. Just goddamn camera. If you have anything coming up that you want the people to look out for, projects, you know, your social medias, websites, anything like that, merch drops, you can let this camera know where they can find you at.
Okay. For now, the main thing that I'm pushing is my Instagram, King Rock Official. I also have a photography Instagram, Define Yourself 425. I named that after the business that I started because I actually won it was this competition like a couple years ago in Naples. They had a grand prize and I won, so I used that money to start a business. So like everything that I've been doing is like completely legitimized. But yeah, y'all can go follow that too. I got some fire music coming out with some people that you should know. I'm definitely making the right move, so you know y'all gonna see me whether you want to or not.
Straight up, for sure. Where can they find us at, Danny?
You can find us at City of Palms Podcast, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Stream us on YouTube though, and subscribe. If we get to 1,000 subscribers before episode 100, this man's gonna give me a tattoo. So
We ain't forgot about that.
We ain't
Click that
forgot.
subscribe button.
Before I forget, King Rock versus Lord Sparks that had just dropped not too long ago. We did that in the city. I also slid out to Tampa and I did a battle with my man Problems. That was a fire battle too. So King Rock versus Lord Sparks, King Rock versus Problems. You should check both of those out. Yeah, we definitely working.
Hell yeah,
I
man.
got some music coming out with Yano. Shout out to XNVIX. I'm gonna work with the whole camp. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Cannot wait for that. And we got a freestyle come up here in a minute. So click over to that
Scream that.
video. You do not want to miss that. I'm excited. All right, hit him with that outro, Soren.
Yeah.